One of the powerful features of a learning management system such as Moodle is that a teacher can get a lot of feedback on the specific interactions between students and the course content. And that comes in the reporting section. If I scroll down on this course page down to the administration block, you're going to see that there is a reports option. If I click on the triangle next to it to see the options underneath reports, there are variations of the different types of information that you could see. Before I get into each of these individual reports, I wanted to tell you that in order to see this information, you have to turn this option on in the course settings. Now, generally speaking, when I make a Moodle page for somebody, I turn this on by default, and so most of you will have this turned on already. But you should check in your own page. So go to your administration block, click on Edit Settings, and then scroll down to, I sometimes forget, so I might be wrong the first time I try here, but oh yes. So go down to the appearance section and make sure that activity reports is turned to yes as opposed to no. So if it isn't, then turn it on and click Save Changes. So now I'm going to go back to the reports in the administration block. And the one that I think is probably the most detailed, so I'm going to show you that one first, is the logs. If I click on logs, you're going to get a lot of what I call filters. They're pull-down menus so that you can see exactly the information that you want to see. So for example, if you want to see activities from a particular group that you've set up, you may not have a group, but if you have set up groups, you could do it this way. Or you can look at individuals. And so in order for me to look at individuals, I have to click on this More option, and then I get a pull down for individuals. So if a student comes to you and says that they were not able to access a portion of your page, you might, before working it out with them, you might want to see what activity on the particular date that they did in fact successfully access. If you don't want to choose a particular student, but you want to look at a particular date or all days, you can do this. So I'm just going to show you one example. If I go down to Tuesday, March 18th, and I say, well, let's look at these logs, this is what you see. So you can see that on this particular day, these logged in users, Izir, Grace, Mohammed, Ben and I were in there editing the page. Actually, there was quite a bit of activity on this particular page. And then you can see what was their specific action and what part of the page were they accessing. So when you see Hopkins online hashtag, that's the course title. So that means they were on the home page, but this tells you specific activity like the exam that they were on. And you can also, if you want to tease it down even further and say, you know what, I told my students that I wanted them all to go home tonight and attempt the email 101 assignment. And that was on March 18th. I could go and say, get these logs, and then I could get a list of students who accessed that particular assignment on that particular day. So it's really, really detailed information. So that can be helpful in instructing and knowing who needs to do what or how to form conversations with students or parents. So I'm going to go back to reports and just tease through these other ones very quickly. At course completion, when I click on that, most teachers are probably not going to use this particular report unless it was a fully online report. But basically, you have the ability to turn on course completion, and then you would turn on activity completion for those things that have to be done to finish the course. Again, this is more likely going to be an important report for more online or hybrid type of learning situation. But the check marks indicate those things that the students have actually submitted or completed in Moodle. The activity reports are going to be more of a summary report. So if you want to see how many views on everything that's been posted by topic block, which are the blocks in the center section, you can view that. And one other thing I want to mention is that if you perform a course reset at the end of a semester or a term, you can also reset this data or erase all this data and start fresh the next year. And I think that's probably a good idea to do that. Course participation, I've sort of forgotten what that is. Okay, this is a little bit like the logs, where you can choose a particular activity, and then you can, instead of choosing one day, you can go back a certain length of time, and then you could choose your students and then a particular action, or you don't have to choose something. So for example, one assignment that's been done regularly has been email 101, and if I want to go back in the last, let's say, school year, 7 months, and I want to see a list of students that have viewed this assignment, I could click on go. And then these are the students. So 1,000 students at the junior high have actually viewed that assignment. I think that's a little bit interesting that it says 36. I don't know exactly what that means because I can't imagine that they viewed it 36 times. Maybe that's how many days ago or something. I'd have to research that. Activity completion is going to show a check mark next to every posted activity. And activities are those things that the students post. So it's not, if you if you as a teacher link to a URL, or if you post a page or PDF, those are not considered activities necessarily. Uh, Actually, all those things are in there. So this is showing you what students have viewed in one big picture. Again, in this case, you can download this to an Excel file as well. Lastly, this is an overview report, and I could select all activities, or I could just look at student activities, and I could choose a time period. So I'm going to say 10 months, and I'm going to say view, and you get a graph in this case to see the spikes over time and the activities, and the colors represent views and actually posts during those times. And then again, this is more of a summary report by date. So there's a lot of information that you can glean from the report section of Moodle.